Hey, congregation. I wanted to record a video message to you this week. Just some things I've been thinking. This is not a finely crafted sermon, but a message to you all. Because I'm not preaching this week, I'm not participating in worship. Worship this week is in the very capable and fine hands of my colleagues, Reverend Sam Wilson from Mountain Vista and Reverend Matthew Funk Crary from Borderlands. They're planning a wonderful worship service that I hope you will watch with us live at 10:30 on Sunday on YouTube. But because I'm not preaching and you won't be hearing from me, I wanted to record a message, some things I've been thinking about, and hope that they might be of some use to you. This time of COVID-19, when we are social distancing and feeling isolated and separated from one another. I've been thinking recently how all of us are grieving right now. As I said a few weeks ago in worship, we're all grieving something. The life we had before, the community we had before, the schedule we had before, the way that our kids went to school before, or our spouse went to their work before, or we went to work, and those communities we form in those places, we're all grieving something we had before this time of COVID-19, which changed the way we live. Kubler-Ross's stages of grief, as you might know, are 5. They are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And grief, even through these 5 stages, is not a linear process. It's not a line. It's not a step-by-step something to put check marks on. It is a complicated journey that meanders and wanders and doubles back on itself and doubles back on itself again, that we go throughout our lives. And we all have different ways, I've noticed, patterns of grieving. Myself, I kind of jump right to acceptance. I'm like, all right, this is what we got to do. We got to get over this. We got to get there. But it's not real acceptance. I soon, from acceptance, sink back into depression and feeling sad and really doing that emotional work of grieving. And I stay there for a long time, and then sprinkled into that is depression and or anger and bargaining and denial sprinkled into that process. And then I emerge into what I think of as the actual acceptance of my grief, really realizing what life is like without this thing from my past. So I wonder how you have grieved in your life, and how has that way of been grieving been similar to or different from how you're grieving right now? Where are you in those stages of denial, anger, bargaining, acceptance, depression? Another resource I've been thinking about a lot is Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs. As you might know, it's this pyramid, and the basic needs are at the bottom: shelter, food, water, other basic needs, clothing, things we all need to survive and live. And then right above that in this pyramid is the need for safety, to feel safe and secure. And I read online this week someone reflecting how it feels like we all, many of us at least, are right in those 2 foundational stages of this pyramid, which has at least 3 stages above those 2. We are all trying to make sure we can keep our housing, make sure we can feed our families and clothe our families, and make sure we're safe from this virus that is so contagious and so pervasive and quite deadly. We are trying to keep ourselves safe, keep our families safe, keep our whole communities safe. And right above the need for safety in Maslow's pyramid is the need for love and belonging. And I can hear so many of us searching that need out, finding it in some cases, and also some of us saying, this doesn't feel like the belonging I'm looking for. I'm hearing that you're feeling isolated, alone, and I certainly have moments of feeling that too. I think a lot of us are feeling that too. I'm hearing, though, that sometimes just meeting over Zoom in the social hour or for committee meetings, whether or not we have an agenda, is helping us remember and helping us fill that need we have for connection and belonging and love. I was talking to a friend earlier this week, and she was feeling guilty that she's at home now with her family, working from home, homeschooling her kid, home with her spouse, and she is feeling guilty for just being at home. She wants to do more. She wants to make a bigger impact and feel like she's making an impact in this world where so many people are hurting. And as I heard her words, I came to this, which has been sitting with me, which is that by just trying to survive, she is doing a lot. By just trying to have her basic and her family's basic needs of safety and food and water and clothing and shelter, just meeting those basic needs and surviving right now is huge. And surviving in this case for us, it is not selfish. Because if I try to keep myself more safe, myself more healthy, myself uninfected from COVID-19, that's helping my community be less infected. My community, those in my community who are more vulnerable to getting really sick from this virus, it's helping them survive. So me focusing on my survival is actually helping my whole community survive. That's a huge thing we are doing. And yes, some of us are sewing face masks, and some of us are giving food to medical workers and holding out signs on roadways for people on their way to essential services. But so many of us right now are just trying to survive. And I don't want to diminish the role of that because it feels like a really big one. Recently there was a meme going around, someone reflecting how it feels like we're running a marathon right now. And then someone posted a rebuttal to that and said, yeah, but we haven't trained for this. You don't just run a marathon. You train over months, maybe even a year, to run that 26.2 miles. And then marathon runners, they learn that they have to pace themselves. They look down at their watch every mile, and if they're ahead of their anticipated time, they slow their pace because they know they need to in order to finish. But again, that takes a lot of training, and we haven't been training for this. We didn't train for this pandemic in 2019. We didn't train for it in January or February, even the first or second week of March this year. Just in a course of a week or two, we got right here in this thing we are doing that is so hard and so different. We're not running a marathon either because we don't know when this ends. We don't know how long this will be. The word I keep hanging on to for myself is until. And there's an intentional pause after my until because I don't know what comes after that. Until what? Just until. Until we know that we are safe. Until we know our community can be safe. Until we know it is safe to gather again, until we know it is safe to leave again. Until then, we have to keep surviving, friends. And we have to make sure our basic needs are met, and also that need of ours and of our communities, that need for love and belonging. It is foundational. The Christian mystic and writer Julian of Norwich, she herself was cooped up in an abbey during a plague in England. And she wrote these words: "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of thing shall be well." I've been saying those words to myself a lot recently, and to some of you too, because all shall be well someday. You might have heard me say before that love wins in the end, and if love hasn't won, then it's not the end. Love wins, friends, and all shall be well. I love you. I care about you. I am remembering you these days, and I'm thinking of you often. I hope that you stay healthy and you're staying safe. I hope that your basic needs are being met, and if they're not, please reach out to me. And most of all, I hope that you're staying connected to your congregation, to your community, to your family, chosen or biological, to your friends. Keep surviving. Stay connected.